Graduation night. Everyone was posting pictures in their caps, throwing confetti, writing long captions about their new chapter. Me? I was wiping ketchup off a booth in a high-femto diner. My gown was soaked. My feet hurt. My phone was on 3% and no one had texted me. I didn't even take a picture. But someone else did. I didn't know about it then. I was just focused on getting through the shift, hoping no one else from school would walk in. I thought that night would come and go, like all the others. Forgettable. I was wrong. Looking back now, that photo didn't just capture a moment. It lit a fuse. I used to think people only struggled until they got their moment. Then everything got easier. I know better now. For some of us, it's just one long stretch of almost. Almost enough time. Almost enough money. Almost noticed. That was my life. Me, my mom, and Jordan, trying to stay ahead of the next thing we couldn't afford. Most days, I wasn't just a student. I was Jordan's ride, his tutor, his lunch maker, his bedtime storyteller. My mom worked nights at the hospital. Some weeks, I saw her more in sticky notes than in person. Love you, dinner's in the fridge. Tell Jordan no sugar after 8. Don't forget, bills due Friday. At school, I blended in. I wasn't the popular girl. I wasn't the rebel, the athlete, the genius. I was just the girl who always looked tired. I didn't go to prom. I didn't go on the senior trip. But I did apply for every scholarship I could find. One of them was my dream, Astronova Aerospace's Future Engineers Award. I didn't tell anyone I applied, just in case it didn't happen. Thank you for applying. She quietly locks her phone and keeps washing dishes. I didn't tell anyone, not even my mom, because if I said it out loud, it'd be real. And I wasn't ready to admit my best wasn't enough. I wanted to be an aerospace engineer, not because it sounded cool, but because it felt impossible. And for someone like me, doing the impossible was the only way to escape the expected. Everyone said graduation would be one of the happiest days of our lives. For most people, maybe it was. Caps flying in the air. Laughter in the hallways. That weird kind of joy you feel when it's all behind you. I tried to feel it too. I really did. And then it buzzed. A message from my manager at the diner. Hey Maya, I know it's your night. But we're swamped. Any chance you could come in? Please. It's crazy how fast the air can leave a moment. Everyone was heading to bonfires, dinners, last dances. Me? I walked home to change into my work shoes. I didn't tell my mom. Just left a note that said I'd be back late. I said it was just for a few hours. But deep down, I knew that wasn't true. I told myself it didn't matter, that it was just one night. But something felt different. I could feel it in my chest, like I'd missed something I couldn't get back. I didn't see anyone take a picture. I didn't know someone posted it. I had no idea what was about to happen. The photo was everywhere. Some stranger had written something like, "She graduated tonight and still showed up to work." People were sharing it like it was some kind of sad movie. But it wasn't a movie. It was my life. They didn't know anything about me. Not about the nights I fell asleep on textbooks. Not about sketching rockets between shifts. Not about my little brother waiting up for me to check his math homework. All they saw was a girl in a wet gown in an empty diner. And they felt sorry. I thought I could handle being invisible. I didn't think being seen would feel worse. It wasn't just embarrassment. It was something colder. Like the world had looked straight at me and turned away. People didn't say anything to my face, but the silence said enough. I wasn't brave. I wasn't inspiring. I was just the girl who traded her cap and gown for a mop. They started calling me the graduate. Not like a joke. Not quite like a compliment either. I smiled, pretended I didn't care. But every time I passed a mirror, it felt like I was watching myself disappear. I missed the senior trip. I missed the bonfire. And somehow, I started missing parts of myself. I kept telling myself to push through, to be proud. But that photo, it didn't go away. It just kept spreading. The comments said everything I didn't want to read. She worked that hard for that. Heartbreaking. This country doesn't deserve kids like her. I looked at my designs like they belonged to someone else. Someone braver. Someone who still believed. I started thinking maybe my dream wasn't wrong. Just misdirected. Maybe some of us were meant to dream small. I stayed at it for a long time. It wasn't fancy. It wasn't even colored in. But it reminded me who I was when no one else was watching. I didn't have a platform. I didn't have a spotlight. But I had one person who still believed in me. And maybe that was enough to keep going. I wasn't done. I wasn't finished proving that a moment doesn't define your worth. And I wasn't giving up on orbit. Not yet. I thought it was another comment. Another repost. Another reminder that I was only ever seen when I was struggling. I read it again. Then again. It was real. A senior manager at Astronova Aerospace had shared my photo. The same photo. And said he saw potential. Not pity. Purpose. Suddenly I wasn't a moment. I was a message. And people started listening. They are offering you a full scholarship. With housing, mentorship, and a job waiting at the end. I didn't know what to say. I'd spent so long pretending I was okay with being unseen. I never imagined what it felt like to finally be recognized. People I'd never met shook my hand. Some cried. A few just said, "Thank you. My daughter needed to see this." Orbital transport vehicle, designed by Maya Henderson. The stars didn't feel far anymore. They felt reachable. There were nights I wanted to disappear. Nights where I wondered if trying harder even mattered. But every moment I thought was the end was really just one step closer to being seen. You don't need a spotlight to matter. You just need to keep moving forward, even when no one's clapping. Because one day, someone will see you. And when they do, make sure you've stayed true to the dream they finally noticed. This wasn't just my story. It was every quiet kid who kept showing up. Every dreamer no one clapped for. Every person who worked while others watched. Your story matters, too.